Namaskar, dear seekers, and welcome to our live stream today. Today is Sunday, so it's about questions and answers. That means any questions that you have about spirituality or spiritual practice. But before we start, first I would like to introduce myself in short. My name is Syriac. I'm originally from France. I live in India for more than 10 years in an ashram where I learn about spiritual practice. And presently now we are in Europe, in Germany, where with SSRF we are establishing an ashram. And SSRF is an acronym of the Spiritual Science Research Foundation. It was founded in 2006 with the blessing of His Holiness Dr. Jayant Attavuli, with his sense from higher order from India. And all our knowledge is available on our website. We have more than 900 articles, and SSRF has two main objectives. One is to explain about the spiritual dimension and how it can help us or affect us, and the second is how to guide a seeker in their spiritual journey, how to progress spiritually all the way to God-realisation depending on their path. And for that purpose we have also kept on our website a platform where there is more than 50 weekly online spiritual meeting, what we call also satsang, and they are free of charge because everything it is done our spiritual practice. And those online spiritual meeting, people come from different part of the world, what we call also seekers, and they want to learn, and we help them, guide them. Like you can share your experience and you get practical steps or guidance how to go ahead in your spiritual journey. So you are welcome to join those online meeting, online satsangs. So dear seeker, to go back now to our live stream today, before we start, what we will do, we will meditate for around 2 minutes. So some of you, if you do meditations, some of you who knows chanting, repeating a divine name in mind or mantras, or for those who are new, you just can focus on your own breath or listen to the audio that we are playing in the background. We will do that just for 2 minutes as to calm the mind or to achieve concentration, and then we will start with our live stream.
ॐ नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय। 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 ॐ नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय 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 ॐ नमो भगवते
So, dear seekers, as some of you are joining us just now, I would like to share about today. It is our live stream of question answers. So we will, for 1 hour or so, you can ask any questions that you have about spirituality, spiritual practice, something you read on the internet, on our website, and you have some question or something is not clear to you, feel free to ask any questions that you have. We have seekers that are moderating your chat on YouTube, Facebook and Telegram, and we will collect all your questions and go through them one by one, or some comment also of something I've shared, and you have further questions on that. Feel free also to ask questions. Try to ask questions pertaining to spirituality or spiritual practice, and if you can, of course, that is always the best. At practical level, what I can do, what can help me, or if you had any experience that you had in the past and you never had any answer, you can also ask those questions. I can see we already started to have some questions. So here there is a question from Vi Chang. You said, how to keep strong when there are many factors enforced out there that deplete your energy. Vichansi, just to say how to keep strong, whether physically or emotionally or spiritually. So what actually, why we feel sometimes we feel some people speak to us in different way, or you say forces negative, we feel some negative vibration, whether it is in public places or through some person, and sometimes we feel depleted or we feel touched, emotionally impacted. So there are a few things. That's why in SSRF we share some different steps that help us, because when we do spiritual practice, then what happens? It creates a protective shield around us, because see, as we speak, we don't have any maybe protective aura is affected, so it is easy, and that's why we sometimes get touched by vibration from outside. So one step is repeating God's name. This is one of the foundation of our different steps of spiritual practice we can do. It is either to repeat a divine name as per your religion of birth, or if you are not attached to your religion of birth, we recommend to repeat the divine name of Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Why? Because presently negativity in the environment is much more, and this principle that apply to all the divine names that we repeat is name, form and energy coexist. So this divine name of Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya, the principle is of the sustenance principle, and that energy has that capacity to fight this negative vibration, so as well create a protective shield around us. Just by repeating just for one day, few hours will not be sufficient, because it takes time to, we can say, rebuild this spiritual protective shield around us. And even though we may rebuild by repeating a divine name, our mind, when we get angry or we have worry or emotions, then what happens? All this becomes like a hole in our protective shield. So all these protective shield, we become vulnerable. So one of our main obstacles, we can say, is our mind. We may not say we feel it is only coming from outside, but actually it is mainly from inside us, our mind, and that we can work on it. So chanting, to go back to it, chanting helps us to remain calm and stable and reduce the number of thoughts in our mind. You can read, if you like to learn, we can paste in the chat our section about chanting, so you can read different articles, what happens when we chant, what are the different effects that can happen. And one is also to work on ourselves to overcome those holes that we call holes in our mind, or that create a hole in our protective shield, that is the worry, the anger, that is our weaknesses, and that we can work on doing personality defect removal. That means to introspect sincerely and to use some technique that is what we call autosuggestions. So of course I can explain more, but if you can read our articles on our website, we can paste in the chat also the article on personality defect removal, and this is one of the main aspects that we cover in our online spiritual meetings, satsangs. So you are welcome if you would like to learn about those practical steps. And it's a question of time. We have many seekers. By practicing, not only they were able to remain calm in the situation, but also able to remain positive also in some of the situations. Of course, it depends on the situations that we face in our destiny, but just to share that there are no shortcuts in spirituality. We have mainly to work on ourselves, but chanting is an easy tool that we can do, because chanting can be done anywhere, anytime. I don't know if that answers some of your question, Vichang. If you have further questions about it, feel free to ask. There is another question from Theresia. You said, what can I do against negative energy that are being sent to me via an astral connections from another person, except for praying and chanting God's name? So Theresia, same thing. See, here we can't understand now if somebody is sending negative energy to affect us. See, because there are many factors in the spiritual dimension, whether it is somebody who is attached to us, whether it is negative energy or ancestral problem affecting us, or negative energy from the outside because we go to some different place. But definitely we can get easily affected from the spiritual dimension, and it is difficult to know exactly the source. But more important is what I can do to protect myself. So as you say, except chanting or prayers, there are other self-healing remedies that we suggest. One is saltwater remedy, and the box remedy, because it is different, but they have that ability to absorb these negative coverings that we collect, either when we go in different public places, or if, let's say, we get affected by different sources, because our negativity affects us is through this black or negative covering, and this is pulled out from our body through one step is a saltwater remedy. It is through the element of earth and fire, and the box remedy is through the element of ether. It has the same capacity to pull out and absorb these negative vibrations. So we can paste in the chat also those two links of salt remedy as well as box remedy. In YouTube we have a very simple self-explanatory video, and it is very simple and very effective. Actually, it is a very simple and ancient technique used in many religion and path, and it helps to actually many feel relaxed or better after. But of course it is a temporary solution. What we say, box remedy or salt water remedy will be temporary, but what will be actually the real thing to get protected is by doing spiritual practice, because it's very simple. When we practice spirituality, automatically the positivity within oneself increase, and the negativity within oneself or around oneself goes away. So automatically we are less affected by the surrounding or by the different possible attacks that we may get, either from different sources, as I shared before. So the permanent solution is spiritual practice, and spiritual practice has many aspects, is to work on ourselves actually. So often we like simple solutions, easy solution, and chanting is one easy solution, but sometimes we may feel that we want some quick result or some quick solution or quick fix. In spirituality is not so. It takes time, and it takes work on oneself. So Teresia, if you have further questions, feel free to ask also. So we have an article where we explain the different steps of spiritual practice. Of course, and if I don't know if you're already practicing some spirituality or some step of spirituality, then how to go to the next level or next step of spiritual practice. It's like when we go to school, we don't remain always in the same standard. We keep on going to the next step and next step in our spiritual journey. There's another question from Sonali Kashid. You say, how to keep faith on God or Guru when things are not going good in life and start losing faith on God? How to stay positive? Just to say, see how to keep faith on God or Guru. See, actually what happened most of the time, we have faith in ourselves. So let's say we start to have faith in our bank account or worldly things, but we have less faith in God. When we start practicing spirituality and we start getting spiritual experiences, then we start having some faith, some belief that God is there, or Guru maybe is there to help me. Then if we do further spiritual practice, then faith develop. Then we start to have more faith that God is there, or Guru is there also. Guru can help me, protect me. And then when something happens, we feel fearful. Oh, God is not there. Guru will maybe not take care of me, or God doesn't exist. But for that is the solution now is very actually to do more spiritual practice. As we keep doing more spiritual practice, then we start getting spiritual experience of higher level. Then we experience that God is everywhere. God is omniscience, omnipresent. And then we develop unshakable faith with God or Guru, that God is there, God will take care whatever is going to happen. So that is through spiritual practice. So you can see, Sonali Kashid, which spiritual practice you do now and how to go to the next level of spiritual practice. Then only when we increase our spiritual practice, then we get higher spiritual experiences. When we practice spirituality and we don't get any spiritual experiences, that means something we have to do. When we start getting spiritual experience, it's a sign that God is looking, that acknowledging that we are on the good track and we should continue to make efforts. In worldly life, we study, we work hard, and we get diploma, and when diploma is finished, we have diploma only. In spirituality, there is no diploma. We have to keep on practicing spirituality. Except in Reiki, they give certificate, first degree, second degree, or you have achieved. In spirituality, there is no no certificates. The real certificate is experiencing God's connections, oneness with God. So for that is practicing spirituality. We know what we are explaining on our website, what spiritual practice means and what are the steps of spiritual practice. But are we trying to put into practice? Spirituality is not reading a book. It is to practice it. There is another question from Satish Chandan. Is it okay to remove negative covering using finger when other family members are sitting next to me? So Satish Chandan, it depends. See, as a receptive to the spiritual healing remedy you are doing. If they are okay, see, we should also keep some distance when you remove the covering in this method. But at that time, if somebody is just very close to me, it's better not, because then we are also removing now this covering and it can go on them. So it's better to give some space and distance of some meters. But if the person is accepting what you are doing, then it's fine. There is another question from Praf Mobile. How to get rid of thoughts of worry of a certain futures? I know we should stay in the present, but for someone like me, it is not easy until I grow in spiritual level. So ultimately, you have uncertainty of future, so you worry what will happen in future of whatever situation may be in your life. And see, it's like instead of thinking until I grow spiritually, it is more now what can I do? That means that see, you can address the worry now. So worry are specific thoughts in our mind. We worry about a particular situation or a particular person or whatever it is. So that's why we have this working on overcoming worry, overcoming anger. So it is something you introspect. What are your worries? And then we can help you to frame a particular autosuggestion technique. And then it's something you will start repeating in your mind. It's called we can paste on the chat about this technique of autosuggestions. It is something like that it is like whenever I start worrying about so and so person, or when I start worrying about this, I will realize that God is there, or I will realize that the situation is like that. So I will remain calm and start chanting. Because what is worry? No? Worry keeps us entangled in a vicious circle, and we are not able to stop it. And when we tell our mind, no, that will not help me, worry will lead me to wasting time. I will become aware that worry will waste my time and energy. So I will stop myself and start chanting. And then you take away your mind from, and then you start focusing on chanting. And then you come back to stability. So it is one way to stop the mind, because mind will always resolve past, future, future, past. It is a function of the mind. And that's why sometimes we wish not to stop the mind. Mind is like an ocean casting wave to the shore, always sending thoughts. That is its function. And sometimes we can't stop the mind. No? We can't stop the wave. We can't stop the sea. It is too powerful. So it's the same thing. We can't stop the mind. So chanting is one technique to stop the mind. Meditation is one technique to stop the mind. But it takes a long time to be able with meditation. Or autosuggestion is a technique also to stop the worry. And then when we do it through repetitions, what happens? Impressions start to get built in our subconscious mind. And it tells, when I start to worry, I will realize I'm losing time and I should be in present, start chanting. And then automatically that thought comes to the mind. And then we start chanting. So like that, this personality defect removal is very effective and very simple actually. But whether we have to look into it, we have to face it. and it takes few minutes to do it, because repeating one sentence like this, no, what is it is you pray, we chant for a minute, and then you repeat this sentence 5 times in your mind, and then you do it 4-5 times a day. That means that you repeat that sentence 20 times, 30 times in one day. Everything we learned in this life, languages, table of mathematics, is through repetition only. This is how impression in the subconscious mind is grown, whether it is qualities or defects or incorrect, because we just repeat, no, in mind. So like that, it is a simple but powerful technique, and it is will cost your own dedication, your own planning. So instead of saying, it is not easy until I grow spiritual. No, I can do something now. I can overcome it through this technique. So in this, what we have shared in beginning, we have this online spiritual meeting. We are free to all. You can come. We can help you to frame that auto-suggestions. This is how far we can go. You only have to repeat. That is something we can't do. At one point, there is limitations, because it is up to the person. For us, we can just share the technique, we can say perspective, and then after that, you have to implement. So Prafubila, I hope that answer your questions. And if you have anything else, you can share also. We can paste in the chat the link of our 101 satsang, as well as weekly satsang that we have, like level 2 satsang. There's another question from Priya. I participated in your daily meditation live whenever I can. I have noticed since SSRF switched to the newer chant, you feel more distress. When we will do the earlier version of the chant, I would still feel distress, but I will feel more concentration with the chanting, a bit more relaxed. And concentrated chanting seems to be longer afterward. Why is that? This new chant, no? Initially the first chanting was more slow, more calm. Now this chant is more active, more rapid, and there is more energy in it also, because today negativity in the environment is much more. So this divine name also, the way we repeat, it has two forms. Either it says in a form to calm, or there is a form to fight. So this is two ways how the chant can be, and that is for any name. Any name can be said in two forms. There's another question from SP. I'm only trying to do chanting. I'm not doing any other step. So what can I do more? You can try now, SP. One is chanting. That is the first step of spiritual practice. One is to come to attend satsang. So to come to online meeting. So let's say, okay, you are shy, no? But you can come to listen. At least by being present, you will learn something. Otherwise, we are all alone in our home, in our city, and then it's difficult, no? Then how we will learn? Being in company of seeker is called satsang. Sat, company of seekers or God. Then we expect, because there is divine energy present. So to be in satsang help us. Many seeker experience that when they come to satsang, they get filled with energy, become like a boost for the week. So you can try that step. One other step is seva, this service to God, helping to spread spirituality in some way, translating articles or spreading knowledge through social media, something where I can help as per my skill and ability. But you can see what helps you, and in our satsang, that you come in satsang, you learn this aspect of overcoming defect of personality. It is another step of spiritual practice. So in a way, in two, when you come to satsang, automatically you learn this other aspect, no, spiritual practice. That's what I shared just before. In spirituality, we cannot remain in the same standard. I will just do chanting and remain in chanting throughout. That means we remain all life in the first standard, second standard. And chanting is easy because we just need to close eyes. Initially there may be struggle, but after it becomes simple. But if we want to make progress or overcome, that's why we need to work on to start other step of spiritual practice. There's another name is called seekers. You say which name to chant for rapid progress. Krishna Mahamantra, Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya, or Shri Ram Jai Ram Jai Jai Ram, or Radhanam or Krishna Ram. This is a Mahamantra. Here in today's time now, we said Radha and Krishna. In today's time, negativity is spirituality is also as per time. So as we go, there is Dwapar Yuga, Treta Yuga, Satya Yuga, Treta Yuga, and then in today's time we're in Kali Yuga. So as each era, spiritual practice keep changing. Even in Kali Yuga, as we keep going in Kali Yuga, also different type of spiritual practice or name also. So after 2025, it will be the name of Sri Ram. This Ram principle will be more active. Now the name, the principle needed more is Krishna chant. So that's why when we repeat only the name of Krishna chant, it helps us much more, no? Because it is a need as per time. So that's why chanting as per chanting, no, Krishna name will help us the most. And see if we want to make a rapid progress, no, we should some like to chant what they like, because I feel nice to chant that chant. Oh, I like that chant, I like that deity, I like to chant this. But actually in spirituality we should not chant what we like, we should chant what will help me. Like we go to doctor and then we choose, I want this medicine is best, I like, because this one is sweeter, no, this cough syrup is more sweet, is more nice. But I have a fever, no, cough syrup will not help me, I have to take some different tablet. Like that, no, we choose the name, that we like. So we have to remember in spirituality we have to do what will help us. Full Metal Workout, I can see you have not changed your name, but that's fine. Sometimes I feel stress when I fail in sadhana, or sadhana doesn't happen as per my expectations. The stress change into physical pain and headache. Will maintaining equanimity in sadhana, as mentioned in the holy text, help? I'm just reading again your questions because you share 2-3 points. Sometimes I feel stressed when I fail in sadhana, or sadhana doesn't happen as per my expectations. The stress changes into physical pain and headache. Will maintain equanimity in sadhana, as mentioned in the holy text, help? Ultimately, you can see now what step of spiritual practice are you doing. You can write now what are you doing, then I will be able to answer your questions. If you can say what spiritual practice you do and what are the steps, then I will be able to explain. There is another question from Liu Jiazen. When I have the idea of doing satseva, that means service to God, I have the thought that I have not done my individual spiritual practice properly, be it personality defect removal, prayer, and working on distress. How can I tell someone else about it? Is that a normal feeling? Sometimes you see missionary going around trying to convert people, but they themselves are ingenuine or hypocrites. Should we spread spirituality when individual spiritual practice is not done properly? So it's a good question, Yuzazen, that you are sharing. Ultimately in spirituality, no, if I know A, I tell A. If I know B, I tell B. If something I don't know, I will not tell, no. Or if something I'm practicing with difficulty, I may say, but we can be honest also. We can say, see, I'm working, even for us, we are practicing spirituality for many years. And some of our guiding seekers, they share also. See, we are working on how to reduce ego. But the seeker will say also, I'm also working on it. So it's not like we should, in comparison to some missionary, they just preach, but they may not practice. So we are practicing spirituality. We may fall short in some step of spiritual practice, but we can still say what we try to practice, and we can acknowledge it also. Because see, when we tell someone, try to do working on the worry, and we are trying with that, we can explain, see, we can give our own example. Many times our seekers share in satsang their own examples, what they went through, or how they overcome it, or what they are struggling with. And this is what inspires the most, because there is truth in it. It is not like that I will not say anything. But that is also a good thing. Now, when we tell someone one step of spiritual practice and we are struggling, it also tells us, see, Jazen, I have also to make effort now in that spiritual practice, in that step. You work out, you said, I attend L3 satsangs doing as per guidance. See, what I would like for you to share, how much chanting you do per day, how much mistakes you write per day, what are the different steps of spiritual, how much you do. That will be understood. See, let's say you say, I attend L3 satsang, but the rest of the time I do nothing. See this, I would like to understand when you fell short, and they will understand where is your expectation, because say you have expectation of falling short, no? So I will understand if you try to give more detail exactly of what you practice, chanting how many hours per day, how many mistakes you write per day, how many auto-suggestion you are able to do, let's say, and if you do seva, how many minutes you do per week or per day, or per week, let's say, hours. Like that I will understand. There's another question from my mobile, is how to get rid of thoughts of worry about an uncertain future. I know we should stay in present. This I think I have been taken already. This I have already taken, no? Maybe the last part I will say. It was spaced a second time. He said, I know everything happened with God's grace, but when things are not going good, it is very difficult to keep faith, as worry and depression take over in this phase. It is very difficult to do spiritual practice. So I think I have already answered some of your questions, my mobile. You can say your name also. Huh? The mobile is simple only. It looks like my mobile to me. When you speak about depression, no? So you can always see if there is a doctor to you, psychologist, to address that part of depressions, because it is important that we should not try to tackle depressions only through chanting, or let's say autosuggestion. It is important to tackle it at the psychological level, because depression is at a psychological level, whether the root cause is spiritual in nature, but still that is important to address this at the psychological level. And I think I've shared, when spiritual practice increase, our faith increase, then the worry become less. But you can see also, if you are come to our satsang, that you can learn how to work on the worry. But I think I have already addressed, no? In case my mobile, you can always, if something is not clear about what I shared initially, you can ask another question, but I think it was spaced twice. There is another question from Mishika Singh. You said, what is the remedy for weak willpower. So, Mishika, you can see, what do you mean by, what do you say by weak powers? It means you have no fighting spirit, or you feel you give up. What is the cause that is causing for you weak willpower? In which regard? Is it in spiritual practice, like you to change some habits or some bad habits or some defect or some situations? It will be better to understand. Ultimately, see, you can start with what can come to increase or this lack of lethargy is sometimes, see, okay, it can be ourself. I mean, we don't, our desire to change is less, or that fighting spirit. It is a quality that some seeker have, fighting spirit to overcome situations or to overcome negative thoughts. But if it is not there, and sometimes the negativity or negative energy can also make us go into reducing those thoughts, this covering around us. No, then we feel more lethargic. We don't feel to make efforts, or we go easily into those negative thoughts. We entertain them. So that's why healing, self-healing remedy can help at the first place. So salt water remedy or box remedy. Why? Because it pulls out this negative covering. And then chanting, removing through these mudras thing to remove this covering around itself. Many have experienced. This is something we will do also in the 3-hour collective meditation on Sunday. The next Sunday, we will demonstrate. I will ask seeker to observe how they feel, and then we will do for 10-15 minutes those different techniques to remove the covering and how they feel after. And quite often what they say, some feel more enthusiastic, because that heaviness, when there is a covering around oneself, it brings heaviness and lethargy. So what you can do, you try to do self-healing remedy. One is salt water remedy, box remedy, and as well using these mudras to remove this negative covering around oneself. So that is one step. And after, if there is going easily into defeatism, then you can work on that. If there are some negative sets in your mind and giving up easily, then you can work on it through this auto-suggestion technique. That is more at mind level. It is something we can do, but to get there also, first try to do self-healing remedy. So see, you say full meter of your spiritual healing remedy is 1 hour, auto-suggestion is 0 to 3, mistake is 0 to 1, and seva is none. So you feel, your question was that you feel dejected, about your, or you feel like to give up, or whether you should accept how it is. But you can see, depending on your, whether, see, if you are working full-time, or whether you are free, you are not working, or you are working part, I don't know how many hours you have in your hands, and how many hours you use for spiritual practice, and how many hours you watch TV or entertainment or whatever it is, and then see how to try to increase one step. The chena, you do spiritual healing 1 hour, and okay, then try to increase auto-suggestion 0 to 3 to 3, but continuously, let's say, or 2 every day. Or let's like that, try to increase step by step, which is not like we should give up or accept, but we can see how to increase step by step. There's another question from Sakshi. You say, what is my spiritual level? Capital letters. Please tell me. See, Sakshi, it is not like that, you say, what is my spiritual level? We have an article that on our website, we can maybe paste the link about the spiritual level. And more importantly, we can, and we give here some step of spiritual practice, and to understand maybe where we stand. But more important, Sakshi, is are you trying to do some spiritual practice? Because if today I tell you, see, your spiritual level is this much, or your spiritual is this much, then either you feel sad or you feel content. And that ultimately more important is, what are we doing? You feel content, you don't make effort, or you feel sad, you go into negative. Ultimately more important is, am I experiencing closeness with God? Am I experiencing some experience of God? Am I practicing spirituality? Spiritual practice is a long life journey. It is not like one school or one workshop of 3 days, 1 week. It's not like that. Spirituality is a lifetime journey. It's never end, because it even continue, in the afterlife. So it doesn't end also. It is continuous. So that's why more important is to do spiritual practice and to try to increase step by step the effort we are doing. Most of the time what happens, our time is wasted in worldly life or worldly activity. But at least you want to know maybe something about, or maybe you are doing some spiritual practice. And with our in spirituality, what happened, whatever time I have, I want to give it to God. But I give 1 hour, 2 hours, depending on our availability. And more we grow spiritually, more we start giving more time to God. To realize God is a full-time job. This is a way how to, and then automatically we will experience from inside, where I am, because we experience bliss, we experience spiritual emotion. That is a true spiritual level, and that we don't have, because see, only a guru of a very high level can tell you what is your accurate spiritual level. I can't say, but whether you will be able to meet one in your lifetime, because most of those gurus, they don't meet. They are not so much known. They are in different part of the world, especially in India. We don't know, and they will not go for that to tell what spiritual level we are. They will say, do spiritual practice. And after, see, when we start growing spiritually, we experience from within that connection, and that by itself we get fulfilled. I can understand. It is a very something we want to know. Naturally, we like to know what is my spiritual level. That is normal, But more important is, as I share, if we say good, our effort become less. If we say not good, we feel negative. So try to practice spirituality, Sakshi. If you have any further question about what I said, you can share in the chat. There's another question from Ojeshui. When chanting, many times I suddenly get thoughts of watching song, so I get up. How to fight these thoughts and continue chanting or study? See, Ojeshui, I think you are practicing spirituality. So whether, see, when we try chanting or we try to do some spiritual practice, at that time we have made already a determination. I want to chant now, I want to do this from this time to this time. So why I'm getting distracted by some other thoughts? There are some seekers who say they start doing some seva, or they sit to chant also or meditate, and suddenly they get a thought to eat some sort of chocolate, and before that the thought doesn't come. And even though many other activity we do, but why they come during chanting? Why they come during when person try to do spiritual practice? Because at that time negativity can influence us, to distract us, to stop chanting. That is so we should become aware that this thought may be, whether it come from my mind or whether it come, negative energy use it through my mind. So at that time we should pray, become aware, and focus back on chanting. The other question from Susana del Granado. How do we know when the affection to a person is psychological and when spiritual? This could be depression or other mental health disorder. About Susanna, see, when it comes to affection, love, no? Affection, when it comes to love, spiritual love, then there is no expectations. This is what we call unconditional love. That is spiritual love. There is no expectation whether the person is nice to me, not nice to me, whether they behave in a certain way, whether they look in a certain way. There is no like that moment. There is some expectation because he is nice to me. I have affection. That is more psychological or emotions, we can say. But when this is devoid of anything, that is spiritual love. We love God's love anyone the same. So we can see whether am I having expectation or am I having some thought in my mind. That's why I'm feeling like that. But not to think so much of that, because see, more important, no, Susanna, is we should work on ourselves, because even reaching that level of love without any expectation is very difficult. It's possible only at a higher spiritual level. We may get glimpses, experience, but permanently only when we reach a higher level is possible. More important is, do I have judgment towards someone, or do I have anger or prejudice towards someone? And I should work on that. No, at least I will have a positive response. Otherwise, I will have a reaction to someone. So sometimes some say, I want to develop spiritual love to someone or love for others. That is a very good aim. No, it's very nice, but we should overcome the obstacle first. We should overcome the different defects that prevent us to love others. That is judging, that is expectations, or anger. When there is anger, we can't feel close to someone. In spirituality, it's like we want the sun, but the clouds are covering the sun. So we want to get, for that we just need to, actually the sun is there now shining. Which is what we need to remove is a cloud only. So removing the cloud within oneself, the cloud in our mind, this is what we need to remove. Automatically the sun shine only. We don't have to do anything. There's another question from Parisa Mehasvars. Sometimes I feel more attachment to my children than usual. What is your suggestions? Parisa, naturally a mother or parents will have attachment to their children. So, but actually we can work on it, no? When at that time we feel more attachment, we can work on it on a practical level. So chanting is one aspect, but then to which particular situation I feel emotional or I feel more attached. Something happened to them, they are sad. So automatically we will feel more emotional towards them. But this is something we can work on, because attachment neither help us, neither help them, actually. Because of that, attachment creates happiness and unhappiness. Both we get. So we can work on that, working on our attachment, working on our what creates attachment, whether it is our expectations, whether it is our emotions. So we can work on that, no? Because then what happens if something happens and we are stable, then we will be objective. We will be able to help them in a better way. Otherwise, our perception becomes wrong. We tell them something with emotions, and that will also not help them. So for that, parasites, one is chanting God's name and one is working on overcoming that emotionalism. It's a bit more higher, what I will say, parasites, actually children now we feel they belong to me. They are mine. Actually, we are an individual, they are individual also. Today they are, tomorrow they will grow old, they will marry somebody, and then will die also. So we are individuals by default. But the only thing that we carry in the afterlife is our worry, our attachment, and that bound us. We become attached. And this is what actually, that's why we have to be reborn again and again. That is the main obstacle in human being, is attachment. There's another question from Tanya. Is there an ashram in America where one can stay for a while practicing spiritual healing? So Tanya, we have different ashram. We have in India, in Germany, and we have in USA also. But just to understand that ashram is not just a place we go there just for healing. We should do spiritual practice. The seeker should practice spirituality. After that, of course, if the seeker make sincere effort in their spiritual journey, they have desire to change themselves, they can come. We also have workshops. We have 5 days workshops in India, in the University of Spirituality, and seeker can come to ashram, experience ashram life, and to learn about the practical step of spirituality. That is something we are welcome. And we have also from time to time different workshop also in the ashram where you can learn. But we need to understand that ashram is for those who want to practice spirituality. But you can be in touch with one of our seekers if you would like to learn about the different workshops that take place. There is another question from Sandeep Korane. In one-to-one talk with SSRF seeker a few months before, I was told to chant Shri Gurudev Datta. Now, should I continue with the same chant or I change? What should I do now? This Sandeep is good that actually you came to this platform. We have few online platform. We have this 101 that you can speak to one of our guiding seekers, and we have this other online spiritual meeting. So it will be good, see, because Sandeep, I can't say fully what has been shared with you or are your situations. Initially, if we were told to chant Shri Gurudev Datta, usually we should chant at least Shri Gurudev Datta for 6 months. It is something when we start with. It depends on the person also, whether initially it is the obstacles that you have are mild, medium, or severe. But usually we should give at least 6 months. But of course, what you can do, now you can always contact us on 101 again if you like, or on our live chat facility, and with whom you have spoken, because it will be clear to us to whom you have spoken. We can see that seeker can come back in contact with you, so you can get further guidance in which step or which chant you can do. Because initially, we recommend, initially the seeker may be able to chant one name of Shri Gurudev Datta, because it's a prescribed chant in regards to problem caused by departed ancestors. But usually we also repeat two names. One is, as I shared, for the problem caused by departed ancestors, and the other one is more like it helps us in our spiritual progress, or to give a protective shield. Either it is as per your family deity, or as per your religion, or also the universal name of Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya, if you are not attached to your name of religion of family deity. There is another name from Prasad Handi. I wanted to ask a question about mantra. I have heard that chanting mantra get into our brain and is going to be running in the back of our mind. How can that be achieved? Also, could I put in touch with Hungarian seeker, please? You are Hungarian. Okay, that's good to know. Krishad will, if you can, after that, contact us on our live chat facility so that we can see how you can be in contact with some seeker from Hungary. About the principle that you share now, about the repeating a mantra and it goes in the back of the mind. So we have an article that explains how chanting works. I share it happens through repetitions. So by repeating divine, everything happens through repetitions. So when we repeat a divine name or a mantra, it is the same principle. The name, form, and energy coexist. So we attract this divine energy, and then it starts creating a repetition, a center in our subconscious mind. And more we repeat, more that impression going in our subconscious mind. And then what happens when it is established, it runs automatically all the time. And some seeker also, what happened, they experience that the chanting even happen during sleep. So that is only when some person have chanted for some time. Of course, for some earthquake on the first floor. If apology if you can hear some sound, somebody is putting some carpet, so it's a bit. It will stop in a few seconds. So just to share, Krishad, is you can read our articles, and ultimately you can start repeating. Is either you want to repeat the divine name as per your religion, or you can try your universal mind also, the universal chant Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya, because that by repeating it start after some time. That's what I share also to the previous answer, that we should give at least 6 months, because it takes time now to establish the center in our subconscious mind. It depends also, for some, depending on the previous life, some already have chanting started from inside automatically, so some needs to establish it. That's why to give a try, and you can contact us on our live chat facility, so that some seeker can speak to you, Krishad, and refer you to some seeker from Hungary. There is still, we have crossed 7, but I will take 1 or 2 more questions. This is from Ramya. You say, when I used to join the group meditation, I could sit and burp and feel nice. Here I'm able to even sit for a few minutes. I feel like lying down and I experience more body pain. I try to do the salt water remedy, listen to the chant. I have not tried the auto-suggestions. I don't know where to start. I have read the SSRF website on the auto-suggestion, but I can't create one for myself. What else can I do? So Ramya, is good that you are trying different type of spiritual practice, that you are coming to the collective meditations, you are doing salt water also. But for that, and for the auto-suggestion, we can help you. That's why you can join one of our satsang, this 101 satsang, or also this weekly satsang, because it will help you to be in company of seekers, and through that we can give you some specific, help you to frame the auto-suggestions, and slowly to be in that surrounding of seekers and satsang helps. And just I can see, because sometimes you feel like lying down and you experience body pain, that is also healing happening. So continue with chanting salt water remedy daily, and try to come, if you can, daily also to the collective meditation. And if you can, try to attend satsang initially, even if you are passive, not talking with, but more listening, it will help you. And you can always ask the conductors that you like to know about some specific auto-suggestion, and that this can be taken separately by email, where you write your situation, your auto, and you need help to frame auto-suggestion. Our guiding seeker can help you. There's another question from Nona Salimi. I know chanting is just one of the aspects to reach God, but that is enough for me after my death. So please don't let my soul reincarnate. Nona Salimi, it's not like that. See, we can try now other step of spiritual practice. So you are doing chanting, so try to maybe learn about other step of spiritual practice. There's no other question from Parul. For the past few days, I see myself more irritated and angry. I see my expectations are not met, or my husband will behave in a way which I don't like that trigger my anger. My chanting has dropped considerably. Please advise how to cope with these situations. So Parul, you can see, because here you are getting more angry, more irritated. So chanting of course will not help, no, because chanting will not overcome the anger. It may maybe reduce, make you calm. You also say that chanting has reduced, because when we are in an anger state, we find difficult to chant. So what you can do, that's why you can try to work on the anger. And the anger, you can take these auto suggestions. Like whenever I start getting angry when my husband speak inappropriate, I will remain calm and start chanting. So at least there is some solution now for anger. See, the auto suggestion is rather simple, but after that you need to repeat it, and then slowly, instead means getting stuck in a loop of anger, we come out of it and start chanting. It will take some time, but you can come to join our online satsang, learn about how to work on the overcoming the anger. There is two more questions we can take from Priya. How long should I clean chant strip, SSRF locate or holy book with SSRF incense stick? I usually do 1 minute. Is this too long? So if I understand, you clean the chant strips as well as the locket with 1 minute is okay. Books is may not be required, but if you feel to do, that's fine also. Sometime around the, let's say, locket, let's say you have it can be 5 to 10 seconds to turn 3 times, or for 5 seconds or 10 seconds is sufficient for each attempt. There's another question last question we can take from Vichang. Is it good to let go of material possession as much as possible to grow spiritually? How do you know what to keep? How to work on healthy relationship with those who have a connection or karma with? Vichang about let go of material possession as much as possible. It's okay, but more important is by mind. We need to purify our mind. See, we are attached to something, but my mind is the most important. How to purify my mind? So you can of course see, more important is some like not to have anything, but that is help us only to a certain level. No, more important is we have to overcome our mind. We have to overcome or to reduce our ego. So to understand that worldly gross things have less importance. It is good to do, because of course we can live a more simple life, but to work on those practice of reducing mind and ego, because growing spiritually by removing material possession it has limitations. How to work a healthy relationship with those we have a connection or karma with. See, with whomever we have interaction, no? Ultimately our interaction should be positive, but sometimes we react either because, again, same thing, because somebody doesn't meet our expectations or speak in a certain way, then we react. So at that time that doesn't become healthy, no? So, and we can't influence the other side, but at least we can change ourselves. So at least we will try from our side to make our interaction positive, and then the other person may respond in a better way. Whatever is karma is going to happen, that we don't know, but by working on our interaction, that helps to give a positive interaction with others. So dear guys, this is very nice. We have, I think, covered most of your questions. Just wanted to share to all of you that tomorrow, from tomorrow to Saturday, we will have the daily collective meditation from 6 to 7 p.m. CET, so you're welcome to come anytime. And on Sunday, on 10 September, we will not have question and answer, but we will have the 3 hours collective meditation, so we can play the small trailer, and everyone is welcome to this live stream.
Immerse yourself in a free 3-hour open meditation session and experience calmness and relaxation. Learn practical spiritual healing remedies to remove negative energy, cleanse and energize your chakras. Ask any questions on spirituality and receive spiritual guidance tailored to you. Join us anytime during the session.
So dear seekers, it is open to everyone, so it is from 3 hours duration. You can join anytime, you can join for the full duration, you can come for half an hour, 1 hour as per your convenience, and everyone is welcome. That is on Sunday on 10 September from 5 to 8 p.m. So dear seeker, wishing you a blissful end weekend and hope to see you tomorrow in one of our next collective meditations. Namaskar to everyone.